Lordy, lordy. I guess we get to work on something cool today. Caught up on all of our work. Got a little bit of my son's heater core to do, but I'm going to take a break and work on something fun. So a little 68 race car. Again, I'm going to drop the motor in. Honestly, more to just make more room in the garage because I've been cleaning up stuff. And we're going to. She's been sitting outside. She got a little rusty. So what I'm going to do is take out all of the electrical from the shock towers forward and lay it back because it's pretty good back here. I've got a new V8 pedal, and I'm going to move all the electrical back so everything in there, battery and all that, come off. And then we're going to do some sanding, put some paint down just so it cleans it up a little bit. I might do under the hood a little bit more. I don't know how I got dirt up here, but yeah. And then maybe tomorrow we can set the motor in with those super spendy headers and see if they actually fit. If they don't, I don't know what I'm going to do. I only paid $350 for this car. Of course, it came in like 20 boxes, and I had to push it up on the trailer. No motor and transmission in it, but just done a bunch of silly stuff to it. It was already paint stripped, the people who had it. I just put barbecue paint on the outside. It didn't hold very well because I put it on too thin, obviously. But yeah, we're gonna see if we can get it cleaned up, do some paint, put the motor in. I don't know if you guys seen this dash. We took an old dash and modified it. Put some Sun Pro gauges in there. So I got temperature, oil, the AEM. Use that for tuning. It's an oxygen sensor. It's a GPS digital dash. It only goes to 80 miles an hour because I actually bought it to put in my boat. But and then a cheap tack from AutoZone. Nothing special, but we mounted them all in there, kind of neat. I thought it was cool. But works pretty good. Anyway, we'll keep you up to date when I start getting stuff tore out. It only takes a minute. These things are pretty simple. And then I'll get some sanding done and then spray some paint. Alright. Well, I did a little bit more than I was gonna. This was really bad rusty, so I hit it with 80 grit, and then again with like, I don't know, 320. I probably should have went with 180 in between, but it was already had these machine marks in it from the people before. I taped off the rubbers, pulled out a couple of the rubbers that were there, and just covered up some stuff to keep it from getting oversprayed. I'm not worried about those wires. And then since I did that side, I went ahead and did this side, even though it wasn't really rusty except for in a couple spots. So that'll prep me for being able to do the hood and this stuff later. And like I said, I'm not restoring anything. I'm just painting it black so it looks decent. Sanded it down, got most of the rust out that I'm going to mess with. It's not a restoration project. It's just I couldn't stand looking at it as ugly as it was. And then I wiped it all down with some lacquer thinner. That's why this black barbecue paints, the lacquer thinner yeah. And then hit it with the tack cloth after I blew it off lightly. Really nice thing to have because it gets that last little bit of dust off. Now I'm going to spray it with some barbecue paint. That is, in case you guys haven't seen this before, this is a 1x6 and it works really good as an upper shelf for 2 deep. I didn't want to go any deeper than 2 because even in the paint section, you lose what's behind, different colors. So many times you have tons of spray bottles and you don't know what you got. So this is the stuff that I use. It works really good for this kind of stuff. And it dries fast, so. I don't know if you noticed, but we're in the actual shop. This is the one that I built to actually work on cars in and ended up in the garage more than in the shop. But I just put some tape on the rubbers here and cover those up just for overspray. I don't even know if I'm going to paint that part right there, but who knows. You get carried away sometimes and do more than you think. Oh, there's the little electric heater, but alright, I'm going to go ahead and put some paint down. Well, 2 cans of barbecue black. I got 2 coats on everything. Tried to get in there as good as I could. Just finished the last one. put a lot on those rust spots, you know, put a lot on that so it would maybe seal it and keep it looking decent. On the front, around where you see, it's just spray paint. It dries really fast, but we'll let her set up overnight. Black is hard to show. Looks good though. Huh? It's all good. Probably paint the rest of the car again after I get her running and driving. That's why I wanted to do the fenders, because I can sand these sides. You can see it's really rusty. I don't know why it does that. It was just maybe not thick enough on those spots and it rusted through. I'll do the hood again, get the bird poop off of it. But yeah, I like it. Turns out good. Next time you see it, I will have pushed this into the garage where the motor and tranny are, and we'll see if we can stab the motor and transmission in. Or maybe I might put the wiring back in and then push it into the garage. But yeah, we'll see. Okay, so we got wiring kind of routed where it's going to be out of the way. We got a little bit more to do over here, but I need to sandblast the battery tray before we route that all in. Either way, it's fine. We just wanted to do it before we started messing with the motor stuff. So on the motor, what we're going to have to do here is we put the mechanical water pump on for the break-in, so it would make sure it got good water. Now we're going to take this off. You can see we've already started. We put the electric pump back on and the blocking plate, and then it'll be about ready to go in. We debated on whether to use the carburetor plate or the or just use the chain. We're going to go ahead and use the chain. It's fine. It's already hooked up. So motor lift is out. Transmission over here out of the way. 4500 stall converter. That's why it's so small. Yeah, I think we're about ready. I'm going to do a little bit more routing while he's swapping that stuff out, and we'll pick up in a minute. Alright, I got the V8 pedal in, the old V6 pedal out. Got some more routing of this stuff done. That's no big deal. More importantly, got our Messier on, alternator, single belt. It's the only thing that runs off the crank, which is kind of cool, is the alternator. So got her up on the air, fixing to see what happens when we try to put it in. We shall see. I don't think those good headers are going to fit, but that's what it is. That's a pretty big motor in a pretty small hole. So we're going to take these. There's slip joint collectors. So we're going to take those guys off. That'll buy us a little bit of space. Might be able to get past the oil pan, start lowering it down, tilt it in. See what's going on. And don't yell at me for the headers being surface rust. If everything fits, I'll probably end up pulling the motor back out or pulling those guys off so I can ceramic coat them. So, anyway, we're going to give her a shot. Yeah, I think I spent about $850 on these headers. We're going to have to pound the dent in there to make it clear the frame rail. The collectors we had to chop off almost 6 inches because this ends up right at the transmission cross member, so this one wouldn't even swing up to bolt onto the head within 3/4 of an inch on the one side. This one had the same problem with the conflict and a little bit of steering pitman arm contact there. This is more of a let's make sure so we don't have to pull them back out again. Yeah. Well, I'll show you what we do when we get done. Alright, this one was hitting on the frame rail, and what we did was, you see my marks and there's an X there. We just put this big ball peen on there and then held it steady and then whacked it with a sledgehammer. Gives you kind of it looks kind of weird now because of the reflection, but it's a nice smooth transition. It's not a whole bunch of beat marks on there, so although it is beat with a hammer, it's not really beat up. And then we had to cut the end off 4.5 inches. $850 worth of custom work.
Nice. Well, welcome back to the real shop. There she is. I got her wiped down with wax and grease remover, but so I'm letting her dry and get a little warm because I opened up the door to get the dust out from sanding and blowing it off. So I'm getting the ambient temperature back, but hit it with 180, get all the old black and down the original white, and then I'm sorry, 80 grit, then 180, then 320, I think is what I did. Yeah, and then I took the center doodles out, and again, this is just using barbecue paint, so I mean I'm not putting too much effort into it. This is about an hour and a half worth of actual work, I guess. So we're gonna get some paint on her now as soon as she warms up and gets all the gases off, all that stuff, all the chemicals from cleaning. I'll do the backside later after this dries, and just hit it with, I'm just going to hit it with the same black like I did, but this time I'll try and get some of that, clean some of that mess up off of there so it'll stick better. But it's just a race car, man. I just want it one color. So here we go, and no rust. Here we go. That's a pretty big motor in a pretty small hole. So we're going to take these, there's slip joint collectors, so we're going to take those guys off. That'll buy us a little bit of space. Might be able to get past the oil pan, start lowering it down, tilt it in, see what's going on there. And don't yell at me for the headers being surface rust. If everything fits, I'll probably end up pulling the motor back out or pulling those guys off so I can ceramic coat them. So, anyway, we're going to give her a shot.